Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Nahmaduhu wa nusalli ala rasulihil kareem. The next thing we're discussing here is a small note regarding ala and an. Now, remember, a harfun jar cannot precede a harfun jar. Obvious, yes? A harfun jar cannot precede a harfun jar. So if you have a harfun jar preceding something which is in the meaning of harfun jar, we'll have to say the second one is an ism. So for example, if you see a structure, for example, you say here, Nazaltu min ala al-farasi. So min is harfun jar. Ala, if that's a harfun jar, how can a harfun jar come on a harfun jar? So you have to say, well, this is ism, because harfun jar comes on an ism. This is harfun ism meaning fawq. So sometimes the particles ala and the particles an, they're preceded by another harfun jar. In these cases, we will say that the harfun jar are what? The harfun jar are actually ism. وَقَدْ يَكُونُ أَنْ وَعَلَى اسْمَيْنِ. The particles, the harfun jar an and the particles ala can be ism, either when they are preceded by the particle min. For example, you will say jalastu min an yaminihi, and the an would be an ism in the meaning of janib. I sat towards his right side, from his right. So because min comes onto an and harfun jar can't come onto a harfun jar, we will say this an has a meaning of janib. Jalastu min an yaminihi. I sat towards his right side. وَنَزَلْتُ مِنْ عَلَى الْفَرَسِ. I came down from atop the horse. نَزَلْتُ مِنْ فَوْقِ الْفَرَسِ. So if you have a harfun jar preceded by another harfun jar, then the second harfun jar will have an ism meaning. Understood? Yes? And this comes in a hadith. The Prophet ﷺ mentioned this regarding Hajj. مَا مِن مُسْلِمٍ يُلَبِّي إِلَّا لَبَّهَ مِنْ أَيْ يَمِينِهِ وَشِمَالِهِ مِنْ حَجْرٍ أَوْ شَجَرٍ أَوْ مَدَرٍ. So whichever Muslim, ma min muslimin, mean is harfu sila, zaida. Whichever Muslim does talbiyah, says labbaik. Except whenever. So whenever a Muslim says talbiyah, labba, the fa'il is what? This question regarding what is the era of this mean is, the Ahlul Kufa will say this is min zaida in a muthbat sentence. But we say here, so whenever a Muslim does talbiyah, the rocks, the trees and the mud around him, from his right, so min an ay min janibi, from his right and his left also say talbiyah with him in a way we cannot comprehend, i.e. they also participate in his talbiyah. So min an, min janib. Understood? So the particles ala and the particles an, when they are preceded by a harfun jar of min, then we say that these are in the meaning of janib or fawq. Understood? Any questions regarding this? Okay.
Not all the words have that.
I think madar means a mud or clay. Madar is mud, soil. Okay. The particle kaf is for tashbih. Nahw zaidun ka amrin. Zaid is like amr, so tashbih. We know this, we do in balagha as well. Wa zaida. Sometimes it comes for emphasis. This is use the word zaida, but it's best to say emphasis. Now let me give you an example. If I say, I'm not going to use the example in the Quran because I don't want to do that. But I say, laysa kamithli khalidin ahad. Now if you look at this, we have the word here. We have Khalid, who's in red. Then mithli Khalid, we have the person in green. And then we're saying, there's no one. So this is Khalid. This is the one like Khalid. And there is no one like the like of Khalid, if you translate it literally. So we're saying, there is Khalid, there's mithlu Khalid, and there's nobody like the mithl of Khalid. So nobody is like this. If you go literally, nobody is like this. Do you understand? If we take ka literally, what do we get? We get Khalid and mithlu Khalid. And we're saying nobody is like the mithl of Khalid. Have you understood the example? But here we don't mean that. We mean nobody is like Khalid. We don't mean nobody is like the person who is like Khalid. That's why we say this is za'idah, i.e. for emphasis. It creates emphasis. Nobody is like Khalid at all. This is Arabic style. But if a non-Arab looks at this and he tries to translate it literally, he'll end up with saying, well, there's Khalid, there's a like of Khalid, and nobody's like the like of Khalid. Khalid, maybe Khalid's brother, and nobody's like that second person who's like Khalid. We say, no, that's not what we mean here. There is no second person. We're just saying here, laysa ka Khalidin, or laysa mithlu Khalidin ahad. and the ka is for emphasis. You understand that example? Yes? On that analogy, then you understand laysa kamithlihi, and he's a referring to lafz al-jalala. It doesn't mean there's nothing like the like of Allah. Because that means astaghfirullah. Nothing that is Allah and then is something like Allah and nothing is like the like of Allah. That's kufr and shirk. This here is just simply for emphasis. Ay laysa kamithlihi shay. Ay laysa mithluhu. Or laysa mithlahu shay'un. Do you understand? So why you have to say za'ida? And za'ida means for emphasis. And say, well, why even use this structure? Because they use this for emphasis. They create, the Arabs, this is a style. Like English, we use words with double negatives, and in Arabic you can use double negatives. Some languages that use double negatives doesn't mean double negative, it means single negative. It's just styles of different language, and we can't translate every single language directly. Yes, you have to understand the context. So, for example, it's like, for example, if you say, for example, like let's say, for example, certain words are used as such. Let's say, for example, if I say to somebody, I love my father from the bottom of my heart. I love my mother from the bottom of my heart. If you get a thesaurus and you change bottom and you change heart and you put something else, it wouldn't even make sense. You lose the whole wording. If you translate heart and put heart and you get a scientific term, and heart is what? A body of matter, an organ of the body which contains arteries, and you put bottom, I don't know another word for bottom, the lowest part. You say, I love my mom from the lowest part of the organs which contains arteries. Like, what are you talking about? When you say bottom of the heart, you're okay, this word means this. This is a way of speech. So you can't just, so when you're translating a language, you don't lose some of the touch. So when you're trying to translate exactly word to word in English, you say, well, this is what it means. There's a like of Khalid and nobody's like that like of Khalid. So no, that's what it means. You have to understand the Arabic style and accordingly understand it. So this ka is za'ida, meaning for emphasis. So there's no one like him. Understood?
No, this you not this.
Yes?
Have you done this?
Okay.
This is different. Yeah, this is
وَقَدْ يَكُونُ isman. Same thing happens again. The word kaf can also be used as an ism. Why? Because if it's preceded by another harfun jar, then we say here it's what? Harfun jar. If a harfun, it's a ka here, ka, and is a harfun jar, comes before ka, so ka can't be another harfun jar. So you have to say here, ka is like mithl. And ka, ay an mithl al-barad al-munhammi. Understood the mas'ala? We'll do this poetry shortly, but you understand the mas'ala? So because ka is preceded by another harfun jar, we can't say it's a ka, two harfun jar together. We say an is an ism, an is a harfun jar, and the ka is an ism in the meaning of mithl. Okay? Following? So now we have here bidun. Bidun, you have abyad, which means white, and the plural of this is, and muannas of this is bayda. And the plural of both of these is bid, white. So he's talking about some three ladies, I think. He's talking about three ladies. So bidun thalathun. And he says here, kani'ajin jummin. Okay? So ni'aj is jam'u na'ja. And na'ja has different meanings. Here it means untha baqaril wahsh. Means here a female wild cow or wild. Again, when we say wild cow, we call it as wild cow, but they might have a particular name for it. So for example, like when they say for a zebra, they call it himarun wahshi. So it doesn't mean wild donkey, it means a zebra. In the hadith, does it refer to zebra or refer to a wild ass? Don't know. But what we're saying here is that it could be something else. It doesn't have to be like a cow. We know the cow and a cow is wild. It could be something from that family of species of cows, buffaloes, something like that. So like for example, ni'aj could be like a buffalo. It could be something from that species, a wild animal that lives like that. You understand? So it doesn't have to be the exact translation of a wild cow. It can be like something. So what they call the cow's family, a wild thing of these, and many of them. I don't know these names, but one of them. And jummin is the plural of jamma, and that has no horns. So he's saying that these three are like cows, or it's not trying to, it's supposed to be a good tashbih, not a dham, it's a husn. Okay? التي لا قرن لها, which have no horns. كَنِّعَاجٍ جُمٍّ. Okay? So his praise there is he's looking at how they look. This is their looks. And يَدْحَكْنَ, they laugh. So he's now praising their teeth, how their teeth look. يَدْحَكْنَ أَنْ كَالْبَرَدِ الْمُنْهَمِّ. Barad is hailstones. And hailstones, white, so small and white. So he's saying here, they laugh. So when they laugh and they smile, they expose. What do they expose? Barad, hailstones. Tashbih baligh, i.e. they expose teeth which are white, like baradil munhammi, like melting hailstones. So these three are, so bidun thalathun, three white ladies or three fair-skinned ladies, like ni'ajin jummin, we say cows in English, it's like, it doesn't seem like a praise, it doesn't seem like a, but that's what he means, the beauty of the eyes. He's not referring to the size of the body, he's referring to the eyes. So the eyes, so they have eyes like wild cows, I guess, I don't know what it refers to. Yadhakna, when they laugh, exposing white teeth like melting hailstones. So that's a poetry, but the whole point from Nahw is an kalbardi. So ka is a harfun jar and an is a, an ka is supposed to be a harfun jar, but because it is preceded by the an, ka becomes in the meaning of mithl. Understood? Yes? Then the last two we have is mudh and mundhu. Should we go ahead? Yes? Everybody following? So we have mudh and mundhu. This is for zaman, time, since. Now it can have two meanings. One is lil ibtida'i fil madhi, meaning what? The commencing in the past tense. So what does it mean? So basically here means since. Okay, so since. So for example, it means I have not seen him. So if you say, for example, ma ra'aytuhu mudh rajaba. So if we're now in the month of Sha'ban, for example. Okay, regarding Rajab, there's two ikhtilaf. One says Munsarif, some says Ghayr Munsarif. You can read it both ways. I was supposed to look into it, but I never got a chance. So Rajab is two ways you can read it. Munsarif, Rajaba, and some say it can be Rajabin. There's both, there's difference in them. Rajabin is afsa, is better, but you can say Rajaba as well. فَمَا رَأَيْتُهُ مُذْ رَجَبٍ. I have not seen him since Rajab. That means if you're in Sha'ban and you say I haven't seen him since Rajab, or we are today's Friday, you say ma ra'aytuhu mudh yawmi sabt. I haven't seen him since Saturday. The whole week has gone. So now it can also mean I have not seen him since. So it is for the initiation of a past tense time. As you would say in Sha'ban, I have not seen him since Rajab. And it can also mean simply as a maf'ul fi, like today. لِلظَّرْفِيَّ فِي الْحَاضِرِ, for time meaning, but today. مَا رَأَيْتُهُ مُذْ شَهْرِنَا, meaning I have not seen him this month. مَا رَأَيْتُهُ مُذْ يَوْمِنَا, I have not seen him today. أي في شهرنا وفي يومنا. So it just means here the maf'ul fi without the sense meaning. So it depends on the context. If you can mean it, you can give the meaning of since beginning time, since that time. The last time I saw him was in Rajab. مَا رَأَيْتُهُ مُذْ يَوْمِ الْجُمْعَةِ, I have not seen him since the day of Jum'ah. And if you're talking about today, مَا رَأَيْتُهُ مُذْ الْيَوْمِ, I have not seen him today. مَا رَأَيْتُهُ مُذْ شَهْرِنَا, I have not seen him this month. I have not seen him this day of ours, meaning today. So depending on his context, it can have both meanings. Either the meaning of since, or simply the meaning of dharfiyas, today, this month, this week. Yes? Yes? Are you following? Yes, in uslub, instead of saying that year, they say tilka sana, but if you're speaking to somebody, you say sanatukum tilka, that year of yours, meaning that year. So in English we just use ismul ishara, this year, that year, this day, that day. They would the uslub of Arabic would be, if you're speaking to somebody, you would make it his day, and that would mean that day of yours, meaning that day. So you don't have to do the idafa translation, you can say that day. Okay? Pardon me? I'm not sure. The question is that dharfiyya meaning is only when it has shahrina. I don't think so. You can say, for example, ma ra'aytuhu mundul yawm. Ma ra'aytuhu mundul yawm. You can say that as well. I have not seen him today. So that's without the tanween, without the mudhaf ilayh. So ma ra'aytuhu mundul yawm, I have not seen him today. Okay? Understood? Any other questions? Okay. Then we have the last three, khala, ada, and hasha, which are huruful istisna. But as I mentioned to you before in the istisna discussion, khala and ada are usually used as verbs. That's why after it is a mansub. Khala is a fa'il, there's a mustatir inside is huwa, is a fa'il, and the mustasna becomes the maf'ulun bihi. And if they have ma before it, then it has to be a fa'il. It can't be anything else, because there is a harfun jar, can't have a ma before it. So for example, I have repaid everybody ma khala Aba Bakrin, except Abu Bakr radiyallahu anhu. I have not repaid him. Similarly, ala kullu shay'in ma khala Allah batilu. Apart from Allah, everything is just null and void and will come to an end. So ma khala, ma ada are definitely verbs, when it's khala and ada on its own, even then preferably the ulama have said these are also verbs. Hasha, this is a harfun jar. And hasha is different to the other istisna. If I say, ma ja'a al-qawmu illa zaydun, the people came except Zayd. Okay, fine. Coming is not a bad thing. But if I say, for example, let's say, for example, I said, hasha has a meaning of like tanzih, to say, no, you can't even attribute that to him. So one is, ذهب الناس إلا زيد إلا زيدا. So Zayd going or not going is not going to dishonor him. But if there's something, for example, we say كذب الناس, the people lied. Hasha Zaydin. It means accept Zayd, but not only accept, it has the meaning of no, don't even go there. Zayd wouldn't lie. It's doing tanzih, and it's showing that he is free from this fault, this error, this blemish. So hasha, along with the meaning of istisna, it is therefore tanzih, of clearing somebody as a false accusation. So it has two meanings inside of it. Okay? Yes? Okay? Nahw ja'ani al-qawmu khala Zaydin hasha amrin wa ada bakrin. But I said to you before, preferably khala Zaydan and ada bakran. And hasha amrin is fine. And ja'ani is not the best example because hasha is usually for something which is more to do with tanzih. Understood? So this is our end of our discussion of huruf al-jarra. The next one are hurufun mushabbahatun bismil, hurufun mushabbahatun bil fi'l. Yes? Inna, anna, etc. Any questions before we finish off? Subhanallah wa bihamdihi subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika wa nashhadu an la ilaha illa anta wa nastaghfiruka wa natubu ilayk.